Welcome, focus learners, to another edition of The Explainer. Today, we are taking a journey into the creative mind by unpacking a step-by-step masterclass on songwriting. By the time we wrap up this explainer, you're going to have the exact framework used to turn those fleeting, random thoughts into unforgettable music. We're drawing directly from our source chapter to build your ultimate creator's toolkit, and I am absolutely pumped to guide you through these concepts.
So let me ask you, have you ever wanted to write your own song? Maybe you've had a random melody stuck in your head on a rainy Tuesday. Or maybe you've got a few poetic lyrics scribbled in the margins of a notebook somewhere, but you just weren't entirely sure how to string it all together. The gap between a raw, messy idea and a polished, finished track can feel incredibly frustrating, right? Sometimes staring down a blank page can feel like facing a literal concrete wall. But hey, today, consider me your personal, encouraging guide. We're going to solve this giant puzzle of human expression together, taking you all the way from that daunting blank page to a finished track you can actually sing out loud.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Here is our 5-step roadmap. Number 1, the art of songwriting. Number 2, mastering descriptive writing. Number 3, working with melodies. Number 4, the rules of rhyme. And finally, number 5, creating your original song. All right, kicking things off with step 1, the art of songwriting. The text defines songwriting pretty simply on the surface. It says it's about building your own unique style to express thoughts and ideas to your audience through lyric writing. But wow, this is actually super profound when you really break it down. You see, songwriting isn't just about stringing together a bunch of random musical notes and chords so they sound pretty. At its absolute core, it is fundamentally about building a unique, deeply personal style. Think about it for a second. Literally 1,000 different artists can write a song about heartbreak. But why does one specific track make you cry in your car while another just fades into background noise at a grocery store? Well, it's that unique style. It's the powerful mechanism of taking your highly specific internal emotions, your chaotic, messy thoughts, and your personal ideas and distilling them into a crystal clear expression for the outside world. That translation from an internal feeling to an external connection, that is the true art we're aiming to master here.
Moving right along to step 2, mastering descriptive writing. Now, the absolute foundation of any good lyric is staring at that blank page and mastering descriptive writing so you can create a clear picture in your listener's mind. The source material outlines 5 highly specific steps to conquer this. Number 1, describe in depth. Don't just say car, right? Give us the specific, gritty details of that object. Number 2, use all your senses. Honestly, this is where most beginners completely fail. They only describe how things look. But you gotta ask, how does the air smell? How does the steering wheel feel in your hands? Number 3, use your imagination. Especially when you're writing about something unfamiliar to you, just let your mind wander to the edges of reality. Number 4, share for feedback. And number 5, read others' perspectives. Actually, I wanna pause on step 4 because it's a truly incredible insight from the text. It explicitly reminds us that writing should be a collaboration, not a competition. Let's be real. A songwriter's ego is very often their biggest obstacle to making a great track. We get super defensive about our words, but opening yourself up to constructive, positive feedback, that's exactly how you refine those raw descriptions and grow into a true master storyteller. Let's put this into practice right now with activity 1 from the text. Write descriptively about a tree. I challenge you to mentally apply those 5 sensory steps we just talked about. Picture this magnificent tree in your head. Look at the jagged, twisted structure of the branches. How would that rough, dry bark actually feel if you ran your hands over it? Take a second to really imagine it. What does the crisp, earthy air smell like when you're standing right beneath its canopy? You see, using your senses takes a simple, everyday, boring word like tree and completely transforms it into a living, breathing, immersive environment in your lyrics. It grounds your listener deeply in your reality.
All right, part 3, working with melodies.
So now we reach this massive breakthrough concept in the text that brilliantly illustrates how melodies can be repurposed. Consider these 3 incredibly famous tracks: Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, Ba Ba Black Sheep, and the ABCD song. If you trigger your inner ear and hum the rhythm, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, Ba Ba Black Sheep, Have You Any Wool, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You very quickly realize they share the exact same underlying melody. The text highlights this to deliver a massive collective sigh of relief to new songwriters. You do not have to invent a tune from scratch. This is an absolutely crucial insight. Repurposing a familiar melody completely removes half the cognitive load for a beginner. You don't have to stress about composing the perfect chord progression or rhythmic structure right out of the gate. You can simply practice by laying your brand new descriptive lyrics over an existing, proven foundation. It's a total game changer.
But hey, you aren't just limited to familiar nursery rhymes. The text introduces a genuinely fascinating cultural crossover called Natuswaram. This refers to a set of Carnatic music compositions created by the renowned composer Muthuswami Dikshitar, which were actually based directly on Western melodies. What is absolutely amazing about this is the linguistics behind it. The word itself literally blends the English word note with the Tamil word swaram, which also means note. Dikshitar composed 39 of these tracks in total, taking Western melodies and brilliantly adopting them into ancient Indian classical traditions, such as the super popular song Shamale Meenakshi. I mean, just think about the historical and cultural weight of that for a moment. It is living, breathing proof that music is a universal language, fully capable of transcending borders, languages, and literally centuries to create something entirely new and resonant.
Which brings us to section 4, the rules of rhyme. So why exactly does rhyme matter so much in a song? Well, the text gives us some pretty profound psychological reasons for this structural glue. Rhyming actually helps our ears effortlessly understand where the line changes in a song's structure. On top of that, it highlights the core idea being conveyed because people just naturally tend to listen way more carefully when words rhyme. Let's linger on this psychological aspect for just a second. The human brain is inherently a pattern-seeking machine. We love patterns. When we hear simple examples like cat, bat, mat, or hand and understand, it literally feels satisfying to our ears. It resolves a kind of auditory tension. These rhymes act as really powerful musical signposts that reward the listener's brain, keeping their attention laser-focused on the narrative you're unfolding.
Let's look at the first verse of the Solar System song detailed in the chapter to see this tension and release in action. Line 1, I'm Mercury, the smallest, I'm closest to the sun. Line 2, I take 88 days to complete my yearly run. Line 3, I'm Venus, the hottest, I'm very, very bright. Line 4, I look like a star when you look at me in the night. Notice the end rhymes mapped out here. Line 1 ends with sun, and line 2 instantly matches it with run. Line 3 ends with bright, and line 4 matches it perfectly with night. By pairing these end words up like this, the songwriter creates a driving, bouncing momentum that just carries the listener forward relentlessly. It completely transforms what could be dry, boring, educational facts about planets into something incredibly catchy, energetic, and almost impossible to forget. Now, when we map out those end rhymes systematically, we get what is called a rhyme scheme. The text defines this really clearly as the pattern of rhyming at the end of lines in a section of a song or poem. The basic rule of thumb provided is pretty simple. If a poem's first and third lines rhyme, we label them both A. If the second and fourth lines rhyme, we label them B. That creates a classic A-B-A-B rhyme scheme. It provides a really sturdy, predictable framework for your listener to hold on to. Just a quick word of caution, though. It is very easy to accidentally trap yourself in a tight A-B-A-B scheme when you unexpectedly run out of words that rhyme with something like orange, and suddenly your beautiful ballad takes a very weird, confusing turn. Let's test this out together using Activity 5 from the text. Read this stanza with me. The sky was dark in the morning. The sun didn't shine as bright. The day is set for morning. I miss the warmth of the light. Okay, I want you to actively identify the scheme here. Line 1 ends in morning, line 3 in morning, so that's our A. Line 2 ends in bright, line 4 in light, that's our B. It's a perfect A-B-A-B rhyme scheme. But let's go just one step deeper into the narrative power of this tool. Notice how the rigid, predictable structure of that A-B-A-B rhyme heavily contrasts with the deep, sad emotion of the lyrics, morning, a dark day, and missing the warmth of the light. That super reliable structure creates a sense of inevitability, driving the emotional feeling of lost home to the listener even harder. It's brilliant. And finally, step 5, creating your original song. Once you feel entirely comfortable with writing descriptive lyrics and structuring your rhyme schemes, the text encourages you to actually set those lyrics to an original tune. Now, a brilliant way to find this melodic inspiration is to explore diverse genres. Indian music, for example, offers this incredible, sweeping variety. You've got classical Hindustani and Carnatic, folk, semi-classical, devotional, and patriotic music. Exploring these genres isn't just some technical exercise in listening. It is a profound way to deeply understand local culture and tradition. You aren't just writing isolated words anymore, you are participating in a massive historic cultural conversation. Learning how a folk song tells a completely different story than a classical piece acts as incredibly rich fuel for your own original creations. It allows you to blend your unique, personal style with literal centuries of musical heritage. So, you now have the tools. You know how to observe your world descriptively through all your senses, adapt existing melodies to remove the cognitive load, structure your rhymes to satisfy the brain's love for patterns, and draw deep inspiration from rich cultural genres. The whole shebang. So, the blank page is waiting. What story will your first song tell? And more importantly, who is waiting to hear it? Grab a pen, embrace the collaborative process, and start your own songwriting journey today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer.